Hello, my name is Sean Ennis from Ennis Management, and thank you for joining me here on the Creative Collective. And today I'm joined by a very special guest. He's a songwriter and recording artist, originally from Atlanta, Georgia, ino Roulette.
Hey, what's going on? How y'all doing, ladies and gentlemen?
Hey, thank you for joining me. So, why don't you give me your backstory and take me through your history? How did you first get involved in music?
Well, I first got involved in music as an adolescent. Just being a listener of music. Moms used to buy us records and all types of, vintage material from artists such as the Fat Boys, LL Cool J, and things of that nature. Which tells you my love for hip-hop goes back a long time, so I got involved with music just by being a listener. But then when I see my brother, little brother wanting to emulate and imitate Big Brother syndrome, I saw him, rapping and doing it in the mirror. So I said to myself, if I could rap and I could, do it like that, my brother, he'll pay me some attention, So I just started doing it, and then in the event of me doing it, I just fell in love with it. Once I got my first time of being on stage and I saw how people was reacting.
And you're originally from Atlanta, Georgia, which, for the last 10, 15 years plus has really been kind of the cultural center of hip-hop music. But can you talk about the music scene in Atlanta, Georgia when you were younger growing up?
Yeah, the music scene when I was growing up in Atlanta, man, it was all about, LaFace, Back then, LaFace was the place, was the label that everybody was trying to get to. And, during that time, you had Goody Mob, and you had Outkast, and you had all the who's who was at LaFace. So, everybody was trying to get it back then. And, during those times, man, like, hip-hop was different than rap is today, and what I mean by that is, then everybody had their own style, everybody had their own crews, and, it was all about the music and less about, trending and going viral type,
Yeah, I mean, at that time, that was before the kind of explosion of trap music.
Absolutely. That's when, back then, everybody had a story to tell. And, what I mean by a story to tell, everybody had something to say. Everybody had a message. Everybody had when you can close your eyes and listen to what the artist was saying, you can actually visualize the words. Nowadays, it's just more so of, here today, gone tomorrow, microwave music.
And what was some music or artists that have influenced you?
The late greats. I'm influenced by, like I say, the Fat Boys, the LL Cool J's, the late great Tupacs and the Biggies and the Nas's and the Jay-Z's. I'm influenced by the greats, the ones that picked up the pen and actually put paint on paper.
And is that being, a lot of the artists that you just mentioned are great storytellers, and I feel like that's one of the way that they kind of make their music heartfelt is by sharing personal stories that they've experienced. And now, is that something that you've tried to add to your music?
Well, that's what I definitely add to my music, to try is to fail, you know what I mean? But there's nothing wrong with trying. But, that's exactly what I add to my music. I put all my life experiences, all my pain, I put it on paper. And it's so vivid because I lived it that the listeners can actually feel it.
Now, what genre of music do you consider your work to be? And how would you describe your music?
Genre, I would consider it to be spiritual hip-hop. And I describe my music as pain on paper.
Okay. And what do you mean by spiritual hip hop?
Spiritual hip hop. I just released my first gospel hip hop record titled "I Surrender" featuring D. Land, and I'm not a particular religion. You know, I'm not a part of any particular religion. So I say spiritual hip hop because I believe in God. I believe in a higher power, but I don't classify it as categorize it as Christian, Muslim, or whatever. I'm spiritual.
Okay, so let's talk about your single "I Surrender." Can you take me through the creation process of the single, and then also some of the themes or topics that you cover on this song?
Yeah, the creation process is pretty much my life. You know, every tumultuous event has led up to the song. I mean, you know, I was shot 6 times, been in a near fatal car accident, been homeless. I've been through pretty much all types of life woes, but I never let it break me, you know. And in the midst of going through life woes, I came to the realization that I only got through those things by the grace of God. And knowing that God had a calling on my life, all my life, I decided to surrender and just give over my life to God. And in the process of giving my life over to God, you know, the song came about. And so that's how the title "Surrender" comes, when I surrendered my life over to God. And in the song, I touch on everything, you know, just pretty much thanking God for, you know, surviving shootouts, thanking God for just being able to breathe when I know so many others that done died from less than what I've been through. So, you know, the song is just my praise to God, my gratitude for being alive, and, you know, just giving him my oath and my promise that I'm going to keep building like Noah in the ark.
And now you also have a music video for this song, correct?
Absolutely. I have a music video for the song, which features my singer in the video, which is D. Land, my brother, partner, Mac Lucci, and also, you know, my brother, my partner, my friend, Lil Scrappy, you know, which is the star of the reality show Love and Hip Hop.
And that's a huge mainstream artist feature. Can you talk about how you were able to get him to be a part of the song?
Oh yeah, I mean, if anybody know me and check my catalog, me and Scrap, we have several songs together. Scrappy is, like I say, my little brother. I mean, you know, we met, and we're not brothers when I say as in blood related, but we're brothers in spirit. We're brothers in the struggle. So that's my little brother. And just the fact of being able to build a friendship outside of music, you know, the relationship blossomed into the music, and, you know, we've been going forward and going strong ever since.
Now, you also have an upcoming TV part or TV role. Could you speak on that?
Yeah, within the next week or two, I will be featured on Love and Hip Hop. I mean, I've been on Love and Hip Hop twice already, but, you know, this will be my first main role, you know, coming up on the show, coming up in this episode. So, you know, just being affiliated and being related to Scrap, you know, I was able to be blessed with this opportunity, and if God willing, we're going to take this opportunity and go even further. You know, besides being on Love and Hip Hop, I've been in movies, from Tyler Perry's movies to Captain America movies, Billy Lynn, Long Walk Home. I've been in several movies. I modeled, you know, and just this accident gave me a year off to be able to adjust and to be able to think and come back stronger than ever.
Now, did you always have plans to do acting and be in front of the camera in movie and TV?
Absolutely. I'm a big fan of Tupac Shakur. You know, as an adolescent, I told myself I want to do everything that he was doing. You know, and as a child, I planted that seed in my mind, and you know, it just like the Bible says, you plant a seed, and if it's on fertile soil, it's going to grow. So it was planted in fertile soil, and it just grew. So throughout the years, I had the opportunities to do the things that I said that I've done.
And what do you like about being an actor that's a little bit different from being a recording artist?
Well, being an actor, you have to disconnect with self and connect with the role. You know, the difficulty comes in the part to where if it's something abnormal from what you normally do, then you know you have to go into a place to where you can actually find that abnormality and connect with it. So I enjoy acting for that specific reason. You know, like especially taking on roles that's not what I normally do or who I normally present myself to be. So I like those challenges.
And that's really interesting. Could you elaborate on that? Why do you like playing roles that are different from your normal everyday character and personality?
I mean, because my normal, my life is, like I say, my life I have a lot of baggage that I'm still carrying from my life. So being able to act and step outside of my normal life and I'm able to connect with a role, that's pleasure to me. You know, when I'm able to write a song, that's pleasure to me because in those moments I'm able to step outside of reality and connect with the spirit. You know, so I think that's more important. That's why I get the gratification out of it because I'm able to connect with the spirit. And I deal more so better in the spirit realm than I do in the physical realm because the physical realm, from the veil has been lifted from my eyes. So I don't know how nobody else sees, but the way that I see the world is just so corrupt and it's so wicked. So anytime I'm able to connect with the spirit and step outside of reality, I long for that.
Now, I'll go back to talking about your music and you as an artist. What would you say makes you different from other artists?
Because I know how to be myself. The world is filled with, no disrespect to anybody, but monkey see, monkey do. Everybody see what's cool to do or what's cool to say, and then everybody do it or say it. Me personally, I'm comfortable in my own skin now. I know how to, humble myself when I have to, do things that some people can't do. So, like I separate myself from just being me.
What is one thing that you love and then one thing that you absolutely hate about the music or entertainment industry in general?
One thing I love about the music industry is that I can connect with somebody I have never met before in my life and probably would never meet in my life. But just by being authentic to myself, just by being in touch with my feelings and my emotions, I can write a song about how I'm feeling and somebody on the other side of the planet can relate to it. So that's what I love about music, being able to connect with people that I may not meet in this lifetime, but through song, I was able to, touch their lives. What I hate about music and the music industry itself is that it promotes more negativity than it does positivity. It condones destruction than it does rebuilding. That's what I don't like about the industry. If I could change it, I would to a certain extent because I understand that you got to have negative in order for positivity to thrive. But it's just that it's too much negativity.
And speaking about you mentioned that your music having effect on people. So is having a positive message and spreading positive energy, is that something that's important to you in your music career?
Very important. Very important. I mean, if anybody know anything about my career, my life, I mean, they can check my catalog and see that, when I started this musical journey, I started just like everybody else. I started, I wasn't saying what everybody else was saying, but I was, putting out the destructive message, because my life, I write my life. I write pain on paper, so I was writing my pain on the paper. But once I came to the realization of what music is supposed to do, music is supposed to give you a feeling, that is undescribable, and it's supposed to uplift instead of pull down. So once I came into the realization of who I am as a man, because when I was a child, I spoke as a child, but when I became a man, I put away childish things. So once I came into the realization of who I am as a man, I knew what my purpose was for music. So now I'm just living my purpose.
And what inspires you to make music?
Life inspires me to make music. I want things to change in my life. I want things to change around me, and I understand that nothing changes until you do. So by me changing, I wanted to reflect that change in my music.
Now, if you could collaborate with any musician, a musician that's alive or a musician that's passed on, who would you collaborate with and why?
It would be Tupac. And the only reason I would collab with him is because I connect with him mentally. I connect with him spiritually. So I know that it would be a dope song. So I would definitely, if I had the opportunity, would collab with him.
Now, being that we currently find ourselves in the digital age and era of music, how important is a strong online presence to you in your music career?
It's very important. If artists got to get to the understanding that the music industry would never go back to what it was. Now that we are in this digital age, artists have to embrace it instead of running from it, because if you don't embrace it, you're going to become extinct like the dinosaurs. So having a online presence is very important, and artists got to understand that they have to be a part of the top 3 platforms, and they have to have a presence on the top 3 platforms in order to be considered serious, in order to be looked upon as a real musician. And independent artists, they have the opportunity to go so far if they understood the business.
Absolutely. I certainly feel like in the past, distribution and getting your music into stores and across the country was the biggest challenge, whereas now I really feel that attention and getting people to care is the greatest challenge that musicians of today are facing.
Well, yeah. It's, and it is a challenge, but to me, I've overcome that challenge. And anybody can overcome that challenge once they become themselves, because there's only one you on this planet. So once you become you and allow the people to know you, it's easy. I think the reason why people have such a hard time is because everybody sounds the same, everybody looks the same, everybody is doing the same thing. But once you become you, the person God intended you to be, there's only one you on this planet, so nobody can compete with you then.
What are the joys and also some of the challenges of songwriting?
The joys of songwriting is once I finally, the way I write music, I consider it to be prophetic, because when a song comes into my soul, it comes, it just be everywhere. But the more I become in tune with the sound, the more I become in tune with the voice, it becomes audible. And once it becomes audible enough, I repeat it over and over in my head until it becomes, until I become satisfied with the sound, and then I write it down on paper. So the joy is being able to feel that, hear that, and then write that, and then recite that, and it comes back to me as complete. That's the joy. The problem is that sometimes people don't get it. And then by the time I move on to another project, that's when they be done got it. But then I be done lost that feeling because I'm on to something else.
And what do you mean by people don't get it?
People don't get it. What I mean by that is, okay, case in point. I have a project that I put out hosted by Lil Scrappy 4 years ago called Good Times with My Clique. It was an EP. I put it out 4 years ago. I'm 120,000 streams away from it having 1 million streams now. I put this out 4 years ago, but now people are starting to listen to it and starting to gravitate to it, and it's about to have 1 million streams. Well, why I couldn't get that 4 years ago? Well, now that people are gravitating to that music, I told you I just released my gospel single. So now that people are gravitating to that music, it seems like they're 4 years behind. So I get frustrated when I see that people are not picking up what I'm dropping at that moment. But now I understand what's going on. It's just that I'm operating on the spirit, and the spirit it doesn't take no time, but to operate outside of the spirit, then it's a delay. So reality has a delay because man is only confined to a 24-hour period. But God is infinite. God does not have a time. So when you connecting with the spirit and you writing prophetic like I do, then that be the frustration, because you want the people to get it when you write it and put it out, but they don't get it. It takes time.
What are your music career goals?
My music goals, like I told you, as a child, I set goals for myself: music, modeling, movies, television, and things of that nature. I've accomplished that. I've done music, I've done modeling, I've done television, I've done movies. So I've accomplished my goals when it comes to music as a child. But now as a man, I've set new goals, and my new goals is to establish my company the way that I want it to be established. I want to now take my acting career further. Now that I'm healed up, now that I'm healing up and back on my feet, I want to restart my acting career and take it further. I have businesses outside of music, so I want to establish my businesses outside of music as well. So I have a 3-year plan on how I'm going to make all of this come into fruition. So my goal is just to now just further everything that I've done in the past and cement it in the future.
Now, what's a piece of advice that you could give for an aspiring musician or a musician who's just starting out in their music career?
Put God first. Have thick skin. And understand that you're going to get 1,000 no's before you get that one yes. But if you're consistent and persistent, it'll all come together. But you got to have a vision for what you're doing. You got to have a vision. And a man without a vision is a man lost.
Can you share your social media links?
Yes. My social media is Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. It's at Casino Roulette. That's CASINO ROULETTE. Once again, that's Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter, Casino Roulette. CASINO ROULETTE. I make it real easy for people to find me.
Is there anyone you'd like to acknowledge for offering you support in your music career?
I want to acknowledge my Lord and Savior. I want to acknowledge God for giving me the focus. I want to acknowledge God for giving me the gift. And I want to acknowledge God for giving me the strength to carry it all out.
Is there anything else you'd like to promote or share?
Yes, I want people to know that the children are still the future. I believe what Whitney Houston said years ago. And knowing that the children are the future, we got to stop giving them authority over the present. We got to stop blaming them for the problems of today, because they are focused on tomorrow. So we need to take control of today. get back to being men, women get back to being women, and let's make a better future for these kids, because right now they're headed for destruction.
As always, I would like to give a very big thank you to my guests for joining me here today on the Creative Collective. As always, write your comments below. Make sure you like, subscribe, and share this video. And for all of your promotion, marketing, and music career consulting needs, email ennisproductions@gmail.com.